Hi guys, welcome to YOGALATES with SJ. I am super excited about our workout today. This is a low impact, no equipment, full body workout, and you don't need any equipment at all except a wall. So just finding a blank space, and you are going to bring yourself up against that wall when you're ready. And just making sure before you start that you have some water on hand to stay hydrated. You might like to pause the video if you're not quite ready to jump into it. We're just starting to find a core engagement. You're bringing your feet about hip distance apart, connecting the back of the head to the wall as well as the top of the back, the mid back and low back. And then you're starting to lengthen the left arm up and over, and then the right arm comes up and over, and dropping the elbow down and reaching up with that left arm and dropping the elbow down, and then going to the other side. Continuing with this, as you do so, rather than thinking about trying to pull yourself over to one side, thinking about lengthening through the side waist. So we're kind of coming up towards the ceiling, and then we're starting to just find that length through the side waist, and then you're just keeping the back of the shoulders down and away from the ears, and you are keeping your core engaged the whole time. So as you bring the elbow down, you're sort of opening the heart forward and seeing if you can keep everything connected to your wall the whole time as you do this. So finding a little bit more length up each time you bring the arm up, and finding a deeper stretch here, gazing underneath the armpit here and finding your breath. Starting strong. Beautiful work. We are going to work through every single muscle in the body. This looks so easy, and as a lot of the exercises do, but you will definitely really notice that we are getting such a full body workout in this without any equipment and at home without a gym. It's so awesome. Beautiful. Right, finishing here, and then we are starting to come forward a little bit from your wall. We're going to start to do a little thoracic twist here. So you're starting to keep the hips pointing forward, and you're twisting the body, and you are pressing your hands against the wall, and then coming back through center, and then twisting to the other side, coming back through center. Keeping this going. So seeing if you can keep those hips as square to the front as possible, and you are just twisting through the waist, through the spine, and you are coming as far away around as you can. So you can come up quite close to the wall if you want to here, or you can be further away. So finding what feels comfortable for you. And then we are going to do this in a slightly wider stance. So bringing the feet out a little bit wider, maybe about mat width apart, turning the toes out and the heels slightly turned in. And we are going to roll the shoulders up, release the shoulders down, find that core engagement, neutral pelvis, starting to twist to one side, coming back through center, and then dropping down into a squat. Twisting to the other side, coming back through center, and we're coming down into a squat. Keeping this going. So we're adding the squat in here, and making sure as you do your squat, you're just coming down as far down as what you feel to. So you might come into a very small squat. You might come into a deeper squat. We just want to make sure that those knees don't come forward of the toes. So trying to keep the knees tracking in line with the ankles. And you're keeping the core engaged, and you are keeping length into the spine. You're sitting back into the heels and pressing into the heels to come back up. Finding that twist, coming back through center, dropping down, keeping length into the spine the whole time. Gaze is directly forward, so we're not bringing any tension into the neck. Finding that twist and finding that power into the glutes. You can go as fast or as slow as you like with this, depending on how you're feeling today. Every day is so different. It's really nice to just make it your own. And with all of the workouts here on the channel, you can always also add in any kind of weights as well. If you wanted to, you could add in some hand, wrist, or ankle weights, maybe some dumbbells, even booty bands. So anything that you feel to, but you really don't need them, as you will be feeling with this. We are going to get such a great workout even without any kind of weights. Cool, guys. Okay, so we're going to stay here. We're going to fold down into a forward fold. So bringing your pelvis up against the wall, and then heel toe your feet out a little bit wider so they're about mat width apart. Toes are slightly turned out, heels are slightly turned in. Keeping your pelvis attached to the wall, just letting the arms hang heavy, the head hang heavy, finding a nice release here, and then taking opposite elbow with opposite hand, and we're going to start to find a little pendulum here. So you're just starting to rock to one side, then the other, staying in that fold, but you're keeping your core engaged and finding a length through the whole back. So keeping this going and just rocking from one side to the other, but making sure that you're keeping the pelvis connected to your wall the whole time, and you've got your core engaged, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck, and then coming back through center, releasing here into your fold again, taking a break, deep breath in and full breath out. And you're starting to heel toe the feet in a little bit closer and rolling all the way back up, releasing the shoulders down and away from the ears. And then we're starting to turn to the side, bringing your left hand onto your wall. Right hand comes to the hip, and you are just lifting and lowering that right leg out. So keeping the leg straight, starting to press out and draw back in. And just making sure that you are not locking out that supporting leg on the left side. So you have got a soft micro bend into that knee. Shoulders are down and away from the ears. You've got a neutral pelvis. Core is engaged, pressing out, drawing back in. Pressing out, drawing back in, working here into the outer thighs, the inner thighs, the outside of the hip. Awesome. This time we're going to come all the way over and placing your weight into the left foot and then lifting the right leg up and then on to the other side. So we are just kind of doing the same on both sides now. Just rocking from side to side, and you might press off of the wall as you come in. So you're coming in, pressing off of the wall to allow a little bit more challenge. So this helps you to stay more balanced here. It helps you to give yourself a little bit more of a challenge and test your balance at the same time as strengthening. So we're getting all of the things here in the workout as we do on every one of our workouts. Awesome. Let's come all the way over to the other side, switching it over. So you're going to bring your right hand onto your wall, and you're going to find that neutral pelvis. Shoulders are down and away from the ears, and we're starting to lift and lower that left leg this time. So we're just bringing the left leg out, lift and lower it back down. It's a pretty small lift here. So we're just bringing our mind to the muscles that we're working, the outer thigh, the outside of that hip, making sure that you're lengthened up. So keeping a nice long length into the spine. You've got that core engaged the whole time. Shoulders are away from the ears, and you're not locking out that supporting knee on the right side. So even though you are trying to keep nice and straight here, we aren't locking any of the joints out. Awesome. We're going to come to start to step it out. So we're going to bring the foot down, and then we're lifting the right leg, and then placing the right foot down, lifting the left, and keeping this going. So continuing with this, rocking from side to side. You can press off of the wall to make this even more challenging. Just making sure that you are not locking out those knee joints. So we've got a softness into the knees. We are keeping kind of our balance through the center line, even though we are shifting from side to side. You are drawing up from the pelvic floor and keeping it going. And then we are moving on to our next exercise. Coming all the way to bring our lower back onto the wall. So you're just starting to step the feet slightly forward and bringing the arches of the feet together. Finding a neutral pelvis here, keeping your core engaged. Bringing the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to start to lift one knee up, then lower it down, and then lift the other knee up and lower it down. So you can bring the knee up as high as you like here, or as low as you like. We just want to make sure that we have got the lower back connected. or the pelvis connected onto your wall the whole time. You've got your belly button connected in towards the wall, and you are keeping the shoulders back and down away from the ears. You might bring your hands onto the hips to notice a stillness here into the pelvis, trying to keep a nice level of those hips, so not rocking from side to side, keeping really, really strong here. Lifting up, lowering down, lifting up, lowering down, using your low abs to lift the knee, and then with control, lowering the foot back down. Great job, you guys. Make sure you're breathing, not holding your breath. You can move as slow as you like or as fast as you like, making this your own. Awesome. This time we're going to start to kick the leg forward. So bringing the knee up, then you're kicking the leg and then bringing it back in and lowering the foot back down and switching to the other side. So really controlling this, and we are starting to work into the back of the legs, the hamstrings, as well as so many more of the muscles through the legs, as well as the core, the glutes as well. Everything's getting worked in this. It's so awesome. These workouts are really, really very, very simple and yet so incredibly effective for the whole body. Really strengthening, toning, getting into all of those little muscles. Also amazing for balance and flexibility and just general overall fitness. So lifting the knee up and kick it out and drop it back down. Awesome. Right, we're going to come all the way to a wall sit. So starting to just find a neutral pelvis, and then you're going to sit down into a squat up against your wall. So you can come down as low as you like here or as high as you like. And using your wall for some support, you can bring your hands together in prayer, or maybe interlacing the fingers, or you might bring in the hands onto the legs somewhere. We just want to make sure that the knees are not going forward of the toes, so you're sitting down into your squat. We're going to stay here for a little bit, so just starting to find that place that you want to be, keeping the belly button to spine, shoulders are away from the ears. Just starting to breathe here. Deep breaths in and full breaths out. Maybe you can go a little bit lower, guys. Just making sure that you are not letting those knees track forward of the toes. We want to look after all of the joints. And we also want to make sure the knees are not rolling inwards. So they are either directly pointing forwards or they are slightly out to the sides, but not rolling inward here. You might bring your hands onto your tummy to find that connection of core, just making sure that you've got a strong, strong core connection, and just breathing deeply in, fully out. Awesome. And we're done with that. You can come all the way down onto your back. We're going to start to bring the legs up against the wall. So coming down and just bringing the feet up onto your wall. Coming in quite close to your wall, we just want to have a bend into the knees and have the arms either out wide, or you can have the arms down by your sides. Maybe palms facing down for a little bit of support, or you can flip the palms if you want to make this even more challenging and work more into your legs. So we're going to start to come to a bridge. So you can have either the feet together, or you can have the feet about hip distance or shoulder distance apart. You're going to start to press the feet into the wall and peel the pelvis up, and then coming up high, opening the knees out, closing the knees back in, and then rolling the spine back down and continuing with this. So as you come up, you're staying up high and you are finding a little clam. So you're opening the knees out, closing those knees back in together, and then rolling the spine vertebra by vertebra all the way back down, and then pressing back into the feet to come all the way up, lifting the pelvis high and opening out with those knees, pressing out and then drawing back in, inner thighs connect in, and then rolling the spine back down. So keeping this going, seeing if you can come up a little bit higher each time that you come up, making sure you've got length through the back of the neck, you've got the top of those shoulders away from the ears, and you are using your glute muscles to lift you up high, and then you are resisting as you open the knees out, and then you are squeezing the inner thighs as you draw those knees back in toward each other. Next time you come up, we are going to stay here, and you're starting to come up onto the toes, lifting the heels, staying with that lifted pelvis and making tiny little pulses up and down. So tiny little pulses, keeping the heels lifted and breathing, keeping everything going here. And then you're starting to lift the toes, press the heels down into the wall, toes come back towards the face, and keep it going. Little pulses, pulsing up and down, breathing, making sure that you're not holding your breath. A few more here, and then coming all the way down, rolling down, and then releasing the legs up the wall, relaxing the legs to wherever they feel comfortable. Maybe bringing the arms out wide, palms facing up, and maybe just starting to roll the head from side to side, taking some cleansing breaths here as you relax everything down. And then when you're ready, we're just bringing the soles of the feet onto the wall, bending through those knees and just letting the arms come out, maybe flipping the palms to the ceiling, starting to let the knees fall over to the right side, and then maintaining a core connection as you start to let the knees come over to the left. And just continuing with this, seeing if you can keep the lower back connected into the mat the whole time, and you've got the tailbone lengthened down towards the end of the mat, controlling this from side to side. So only moving to a position where you're able to keep that connection of core, so you're not bringing any tension into the lower back. You've got the back of the shoulders connected, you're breathing, finding your breath. And finding one more here on the right. Inhale, coming back through center. Exhale, coming over to the left. And then inhale, back through center and staying here and lengthening the legs up the wall. Finding a little bit of movement into the feet, the ankles, and finding a waterfall. Relaxing the legs into the wall. Allowing the legs to completely let go, allowing the wall to support those legs, and allowing the mat to fully support the whole back, the back of the head. Maybe bringing your hands onto the tummy as you start to breathe a little more deeply into the belly, feeling the belly pressing in towards the hands, and then feeling as the belly softly releases away from the hands as you breathe out. You might bring the soles of the feet together now, maybe letting the knees fall out wide, finding a little butterfly shape with the legs. Maybe letting the hands be on the belly still, or you might bring the arms out wide. Just allowing the tailbone to lengthen out, allowing the outer thighs to soften even more heavily, the outside of those knees, the outer feet, relaxing down. And then when you're ready, we're going to start to come all the way over onto your belly, just letting the shins come up the wall. The top of the feet are connected onto your wall. You've got your shoulders in line with your elbows, and you're on your forearms. Just finding the shoulders away from the ears, finding a little back bend here, and then you're bringing the hands next to the shoulders, forehead towards the mat and starting to tuck the toes under, and you are shifting back as you round the spine, chin to chest, and then inhale as you come back out, belly button to spine, lowering back down with control, and then exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest, pressing back, and then inhale as you lengthen back out and starting to lower back down. Elbows go straight back. Inhale, pressing back up, keeping your core engaged, and then rounding the spine, chin to chest as you sit back towards the heels, keeping those toes tucked under. Inhale, finding length from the top of the head all the way out the tailbone and gazing forward, and then lowering down with control. Elbows coming close, keeping your core engaged. And coming up, pressing up, shoulders away from the ears, belly button to spine, rounding the spine, chin to chest, and then unravel as you start to find that length. Elbows go straight back, shoulders away from the ears as you lower back down, and coming back up, pressing up, rounding the spine, chin to chest, and pressing back. Inhale, shifting forward, half plank, and exhale, lowering back down, coming down and releasing. Inhale, coming back up, pressing up. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest, and finding a little bit more length through the arms. Inhale, shifting forward, and exhale, staying here as you start to lower back down and releasing. And inhale, coming up, and exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, shifting forward, finding that length. Exhale as you lower down. And then inhale, coming up, pressing up, and starting to round the spine, chin to chest, and then we're coming all the way down. Awesome. Staying here, we're going to stay on the forearms, shoulders are away from the ears. You've got the toes untucked, and this time you're starting to press the shoulders down towards the mat, rounding the spine, chin to chest, and then inhale as you drop the hips back down, opening the heart forward. And then exhale as you start to tuck the tailbone under, rounding the spine, chin to chest, pressing those shoulders away, and then inhale, dropping the belly, dropping the pelvis down, and bringing the gaze forward, keeping this going. So we're finding a bit of shoulders here. We are finding a heart opening as we allow the shoulders to come down and away from the ears, gazing forward, opening up through that heart, and then you're pressing those shoulders towards the mat as you start to come back, rolling the spine, tucking the tailbone under. Inhale, shifting forward, gazing forward. Exhale as you start to tuck the tailbone and shifting the hips back, pressing back. And then shifting all the way forward and staying here. Bringing the hands next to the shoulders, and you're pressing into the hands as you shift the hips back. We are coming to standing. Coming up against your wall, you're starting to bend the elbows, drop those elbows down, palms facing forward. Then you're lifting up high onto the balls of the feet, lifting the heels as you lengthen the fingertips up, and then dropping back down. Heels come down and elbows drop down. Shining the heart forward. Inhale, coming up high. Exhale, lowering back down with control, keeping this going. Seeing if you can keep the shoulders down and away from the ears the whole time. Even though you're coming all the way up, you are keeping that engagement of core. You're keeping everything lengthened up and lowering back down. And then we are coming all the way down onto our backs again and bringing the soles of the feet onto your wall. You've got your feet around about shoulder width apart or hip distance apart, starting to lengthen the hands up overhead, and then you are crunching up. So engaging the core as you bring the arms all the way through the legs, and then lengthening the arms back and coming up and lowering down, keeping this going. So we want to just make sure you've got that connection here of core the whole time. If you're noticing any kind of tension into the back of your neck, you can always bring the hands behind the head if it feels better and kind of just support the head. Or you can also just come up a little way. So you don't have to come up super high. You want to make sure you've got length through the back of the neck and you aren't crunching the neck. We are using our core muscles to bring us up, and we're maintaining that connection of core as we lower back down with control. And keeping this going, breathing, make sure you're not holding your breath. And release. We're going to come all the way up to standing. So taking your time to come to standing, bringing the toes slightly out, heels in, finding the core is engaged and you've got a neutral pelvis. Shoulders are down and away from the ears, facing your wall, bringing your hands onto the wall. And we're going to start to shift over to the left side and then to the right. So you're bending through one knee as the other leg straightens, and then you're coming over to the other side. And as you continue to shift here from side to side, seeing if you can sit back into the heel as you come over to that one side, and then using your glute muscles to draw you back up, and then shifting over to the other side. Keeping your core engaged the whole time. We are keeping length into the whole back, and you are sitting down almost like you're trying to sit back into a chair as you come over to one side, then the other, making sure that the knee does not go forward of the toes. So we want to just sit back into this, back and down, and using your wall for support. And of course, if you want to make this even harder, you could let go of the wall and start to do this without that support of the wall. And sitting back, coming to the other side, making sure that the knee is not rolling inward. We want to make sure it's either going directly forward or slightly out to the side. Awesome. Staying here, guys, and we're going to start to bring the right foot forward, left toes are tucked under, and then you are holding onto your wall, and then you are just starting to make little pulses up and down. So lengthening the leg behind you, tiny little pulses through that smile line underneath the glute. So just working into the glute on that left side, tiny little pulses up and down, really bringing your mind to the muscles that we're working. Keep it going, breathing here, squeezing into the booty on that left side, breathing in, breathing out. Few more here, breathing in, breathing out, and bringing the foot back down. And let's go straight to the other side, stepping the right toes back and lifting the toes up and starting to make those little pulses up and down, keeping the hips square to your wall. We are finishing strong. We're nearly done. So good. Keep it going. Few more here. Tiny little pulses. And nearly there. Keep it going. Few more. And then you are done. Well done, you guys. It was so nice to have you join me. I can't wait to see you again soon. Have the best rest of your day.